This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tel Tanner.
Let's wrap up basketball season at Mount Marty University here today. I'm Tel Tanner. This is KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. Let's go ahead and roll through what we're doing today. We spoke with the head coach of the Mount Marty Lancers men's basketball program in Collin Authier a little earlier today about this season and everything that went into it for Mount Marty men's basketball. Mount Marty back in the postseason for the first time since 2020. They fall to number one Dort 76-59 in the GPAC quarterfinals this last Wednesday. Their season does come to a close here. For Mount Marty, they finish with a 10-17 overall record and 7-13 conference record. We spoke with the head coach of the Lancers, Collin Authier, at length about it today. We spent about a half hour talking with that guy about everything. We've got the full interview coming up on KYNT. Normally, we also speak with a couple of players as well, but it's spring break. It is spring break for Mount Marty University, and everybody's gone. So we'll hope we'll speak with a couple of Mount Marty basketball players a little later in the spring on this show, the Lancer Locker. For today, we'll wrap up basketball season, but first, let's go through week in review, Mount Marty Lancer athletics. We'll run through baseball, softball, coming up in a couple of minutes here. The softball team, 7-5 overall to start the season. Good year for them so far, winning season as they go into March now. They've got matchups this Thursday and Friday and Saturday. They have got 5 games in a 3-game stretch. They play Tabor College on Thursday, and then on Friday they have a doubleheader. Game 1 versus Friends University, Game 2 versus Culver Stockton, and then on Saturday, Evangel University and Kansas Wesleyan University, the two they're playing there. It is 5 games in 3 days, all in Branson, Missouri, before they return home for next weekend. Conference baseball at home at Sertoma Field versus Dakota Wesleyan, March 14th. Make sure you're there for that one. For the baseball team, they're 8-4 on the season, and they are currently still down in Tucson, Arizona. A couple of games this weekend already wrapped up. The Tucson trip going well so far. They're 2-2 in Tucson. They did fall in Game 1 to Minot State University in an 18-17 final, which is crazy. They then beat La Sierra University 21-8. They fell to La Sierra University the next day 8-5, and they beat Minot State University 2-1. In Arizona, they will now play tomorrow against the University of Jamestown. That is a North Dakota school. 2 South Dakota schools meeting in Arizona. Don't ask questions. And then Concordia St. Paul is also down in Arizona. They'll be playing both of those universities tomorrow. But the baseball team, once again, 8-4 on the season before they start some conference play in a couple of weeks as well. They'll open up the season at home versus Northwestern on the 14th. Finally, indoor track and field wrapped up their season at the County Sports and Events Center in Gainesville, Florida over this last weekend. At the conclusion of the meet, the Lancers came away with 2 school records and 1 finalist. Senior Logan Ferrari broke his own school record again in the prelims of the 5,000, running 14:42:30, which was fast enough to qualify him to the final. Ferrari finished 11th in the final running 14:53:03. Ferrari also competed in the 3,000 and finished 18th with a time of 8:57:10. Sophomore Maya Zoner equaled the school record in the pole vault again with a vault of 11:975. Zoner finished 13th in the event. Another big performances, sophomore Xavier Prado competed in the 400 and finished 18th with a time of 51:27. Senior Luke Rededal competed in the shot put and didn't register a legal throw. Juniors Zelly Sorensen and Alexis Even, senior Ashnae George, and junior Josie Wallstrom finished 15th in the 4x400 with a time of 3:56:05. Even also competed in the 200 and finished 16th with a time of 25:50. And junior Lexa Bertzlaff also represented the Lancers as an alternate for that 4x400 team. The Lancers are going to start their outdoor season at the Wayne State College Wildcat Classic in Wayne, Nebraska on March 28th and 29th. In the final event, squad rankings for the indoor season, the women have 3 event squads ranked nationally in the top 20, and the men have 4. That's a wrap-up of indoor track and field season. We're hoping to talk with their head coach in the coming weeks as well before we start outdoor. My name is Del Tanner. This is KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. With that, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back with the head coach of the Mount Marty Lancers in Collin Authier, recapping this men's basketball season for Mount Marty University. Back in a couple of minutes. You're listening to the Lancer Locker.
Buying a home in this market can be frustrating. Having an experienced real estate agent is more important than ever. This is Deb Speck with Vision Real Estate, and I've been helping first-time home buyers, those needing a little more space, folks wanting to downsize, and investors for almost 20 years. For personalized service you can trust, call 605-664-5555, and we'll find your next home.
Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more. All at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmick cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. For your convenience, you can call and order curbside pickup or order online at meatlodge.com. The Meat Lodge in Yankton, on the way to the lake on Highway 52.
This is Jenny from Slumberland Furniture in Yankton. Looking for a refresh in your home? Want to change up your space? Take advantage of our free interior design service. We can help reimagine your room using new pieces that will work with what you currently have. At Slumberland, you'll find the best brand name furniture and quality mattresses with the best customer service possible. See us at 2401 Broadway in Yankton.
Sherco's electric accessories, more than just convenience, they're safety. Step back away from the moving parts and out of the dust. Operate your electric accessories with the push of a button. Everything from our 4500 series HD tarp to our ProTrap and AutoTrap hopper door openers to the DriveMax auger mover provide a safer working environment when teamed with the SureLink wireless system. To learn more, give us a call at 1-800-474-8756 or find us at Sherco.com. Demand the best. Demand Sherco.
James and I are having a beef.
About which Runza burger is best.
It's the savory Swiss mushroom. Hands down.
No, it's the double cheeseburger. 2 burgers, better than 1, 'cause math.
The spicy Jack burger is also good.
True. Wait, why are we fighting?
I forget. Come get your favorite Runza burger today, because Runza makes it all better.
Want the best fast food burger around? Try Runza on Broadway by Bernard's in Yankton.
We all get a case of the Mondays sometimes, so to chill out everyone's case of the Mondays, Coors Light is giving America a case of the Mondays for the worst Monday of the year, the Monday after the big game. The case of the Mondays has never sounded so chill. Want to learn more? Visit CoorsLightMondays.com. Must be 21 to take part. Pick up the limited time Mondays Coors Light packaging at a local retailer near you.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker now with the head coach of the Mount Marty men's basketball program in Collin Authier. Coach Authier, congrats on a successful season. Back in the tournament is Mount Marty, and you've got a young core this season kind of leading the way. I know hopes are high with fans. Can you give me your thoughts on this season and kind of what you were able to accomplish and what you want to get done in the coming years?
Yeah, I thought we made a lot of huge strides throughout the year, and some of it was just growth and maturity and experience and guys stepping up. And it's hard because there were a lot of good things that happened this year, but there's still about 3 or 4 games that we wish we could have gotten back. That just we had to learn our late game execution. I thought that really came into play later in the season as our guys just understood the importance of discipline and attention to detail and the communication you had to have at certain times in games. So excited for it. Very, very proud of all that this group was able to accomplish, and looking forward to build on that as we talked about as a program. Was like, this just set the standard. This was what the stepping stone of the goals in terms of what we're doing, the consistency of it, and now that there's a bar that's got to be not met every year but exceeded every single year.
When it comes to some of the big moments from this season, Coach, I wanted to kind of run through a couple of them. Well, you can go through the non-conference if you'd like, but I want to start with conference play here. A little bit of history on the very first game in the Northwestern game, where you had a guard there play two separate sports in the same day at the college level. Rugby Riken started at quarterback and then played for you as a point guard as well later in the same day. That was cool to start the season.
Yeah, and they can't find that ever being done at any level anywhere in the country. And I don't think anybody has at that position. I think maybe somebody dressed for maybe a football game but didn't play. I mean, he started and had a full week of prep of a game plan for football, and then same thing that week for basketball was involved with all of our game planning with what we were doing. So tip of the cap to Rugby for doing that. I know that was a special moment for him. Proud of him for achieving that. That was a goal of his, and something that he wanted to accomplish. And proud that me and Micheletti were able to be on the same page as long as we were throughout that ordeal, to just make sure that Rugby was going to be in a good place. And it wasn't just physically, it was mentally as well, and making sure the balance of school and workloads and preparation was going to be there, because obviously physically that goes without saying, and I think everybody kind of understands that, and Rugby did too. But it's just that mental portion of it, and how the level of toughness you have to go through that was just a special thing to see and be a part of.
As we talk about the early season, we got to talk about that early season winning stretch there. You win 3 of your first 4 conference games, 3 in a row over Midland, Waldorf, and Hastings. A couple of good wins in there over decent programs, feisty programs as well. What led to that early season winning stretch? Yeah,
and that was a tough stretch for us, because we played Northwestern on Saturday. And then we turned around and we played at South Dakota State on Monday. In a game that was a tough scheduled game. It wasn't the ideal date that we were looking for. But those guys, Eric Henderson, Clink, they've been great to us over the years, and very, very appreciative of them. And I always told them, like, if you need that date to make it work, we'll try to find a way to make it work. But and they kept filling up with some of their regular season Division I games and things that are even outside their control on those other dates that we had talked about. So we made that date work, and it wasn't ideal because it put us on the road 3 times in about a 5-day span. We're on the road on Monday, then at Midland on Wednesday, and then at Waldorf, which was our longest road trip, that Saturday. And so very, very proud of our guys in terms of just some of the short turnarounds. And I do think that led us to looking at changing some things in terms of how we were doing some stuff for our guys. The shorter turnarounds, the more the walkthrough was really, really clicking with them, because then we turned around and gave them an off day on that Sunday. Still watched some film, but then Monday, and then had Tuesday before Thanksgiving to prep for Hastings. And in that Hastings game, our guys were really, really clicking on all cylinders that night, offensively and defensively, which was good to see, which is, playing 4 games in a 8-day stretch isn't easy. And so good way to start the conference season and put us in a really good place. And getting out to those fast starts are important at GPAC. You got to take advantage of it. And I thought that really helped us sustain to be able to make that tournament later in the year.
One of the things you mentioned there, the games between USD and SDSU. You also added UNO, the University of Nebraska Omaha, this year. You've played a lot of those Summit League schools over the last couple of years. NDSU last year. You seem to like those games. Are you going to be doing more of those in the future?
Absolutely. And for the reasons of this, I mean, our guys played UNO. We felt like we played pretty well, especially in that first half of that game. When it was we cut it down to 2 for a segment there. And they end up going and win the Summit League, and our national darlings right now, because they're a whole garbage can smashing deal. Which I'll do whatever. I'll smash garbage, whatever we have. But I just really, really happy for Coach Crutch there at Omaha. Kynes is associate head coach there that I've known for a long time and helped get that game done. But it's those opportunities and playing those teams allows it for when March comes and our guys are watching games on TV. We played those guys. We played Markel Sutton. He's a good player. J.J. White, Tony Osborne. It's just the familiarity that you get Obviously, with South Dakota and South Dakota State, our guys have grown up competing against many of those players, and so the familiarity that you have and the level of respect that you have with those players and coaches. So I always want to give our guys that opportunity and being able to compete on that stage, and very appreciative of those schools for doing it for us.
That takes us near the Christmas break here, and one of the things I wanted to talk about that was different this year is we have that Christmas break. Marty Gross, a new associate head coach who was brought into this program, a guy you knew very well from years in the past, and we talked at the early season and kind of throughout the season what he was going to bring to the program. Now that the season's done, what did this guy bring to the program?
He brought a lot. We argued so incredibly much, and people think that is like a negative, and in coaching it's not. You have to argue, you have to poke holes in philosophies, you have to challenge the status quo, like you have to think outside the box on stuff. And so me and him would argue quite a bit, to the point where like there were times in our office where Alec would get up and he'd just walk out. He was just getting like, okay, these guys are just going at it right now, and I don't want to get drug into this. But he knows I love him. I know he loves me. We all know where it all comes from, and what we're trying to do. And in turn, I think that made us better. It just challenged each other's thinkings and philosophies on stuff. And okay, well, if we do this, well, what about this, and just what that equals to. And I thought Alec brought a lot too, just a different perspective of things coming from the league, somewhere else in the league, and being able to see things. But Marty did a ton with a lot of different things, right? And everything's so collaborative and in conjunction with stuff. But really defensively, really kind of let him go to work on that. With many of it, adding a couple different sets or actions that we liked, and kind of put our own spin and touch on them. Pre-practice shooting to film breakdown stuff, to more of our own game, even self-scouts. He was really good on that. And when I say really good, I don't mean from like the work that was done. I mean from being able to communicate it to players. And that's not always easy today. And so he always had a nice twist of, he would write some of the goofiest things in there on stuff. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock when a guy goes by somebody, when we would go by and score, and our guys are in there and they're laughing, which keeps it such a good film session, because they know it's not personal, that there's good things shown in there just as much as things that we need to fix. And Marty's just he's just elite at it. So he was awesome. Very appreciative of everything that he's brought in year one, and looking forward to him doing the same thing in year two.
We'll go on to Alec in a moment, but I wanted to ask something that was a new addition to the program. I assume this year. I guess I didn't know about it in years past. It was here. Warming up, you used heavier basketballs. What was going on there? When did that start?
Yeah, we actually used those at A&M Corpus Christi. Was very prevalent. And then when I went back to Augustana, I used those there as well with player development.
I've never heard of this, so tell me about it. Heavier basketball warming up before a game.
How this all started was there's a player by the name of Morris Allman, and Morris Allman had an NBA tryout with the Atlanta Hawks. Morris played at Rice. And was the leading scorer in college basketball his junior year. And he was going through the pre-draft workout stuff. And when he went and worked out for the Hawks, he came back and he said, "Coach, these NBA teams are using this big balls and heavy balls for training stuff, and man, I've really enjoyed it and can see the value in it. Is that something you think that we could add in?" So they got on the phone with the Hawks and they talked to him. They talked about the philosophy behind it and what you can do. And so we added them in here. Like I said, we used that at Corpus, used that at Augie. I knew when Coach Gross was coming here that it was going to be involved. I already had them ordered before he was already trying to figure out how to order them himself. So we just do everything in threes. We do everything with big, heavy, regular. The amount of finishes that you do when you're doing ball handling stuff, it's big, heavy, regular. Mic-ins, layups around the rim. You do everything, and it's a huge boost. And so when you look at one of the things that we talked about going this year is we need to finish better at the rim. We shot 52% on layups last year, and that was not very good. That was in the 17th percentile of the entire country. So it was 100% of let's invest in this. We shot 64% on layups this year. And which is it was in the 79th percentile in the entire country. So it solved and helped us a ton from that aspect. And that's what we knew. We're getting there. We're getting to the spots. We just got to make those layups. And we still had games where we missed a large number of layups. And so there's a certain number of growth that we can achieve there. But the big heavy regulars have been included and are part of all of our things that we do for our training.
And let's continue talking about coaching staff. A couple more guys here. Alec Larrabee, your first-year grad assistant. Ryan Olson, a guy who is very special to us here at KYNT because he called the last couple games of the season alongside me as your development team head coach.
Yeah, Alex done a tremendous job as a GA. Has had a lot of responsibility. He's further ahead and along where I say where I was at that age. Coach Gross says the same thing. He's really got a chance to be a really good coach. He does a great job in terms of relationships with the guys and communicating with them and kind of correlating what he sees his on court and presence and workouts is really good. And so, I'm just excited for him. And then Coach Olson's been here from day one for me and even a year before that. As a graduate assistant my first year and has stayed on to be our development team coach and allowed him to do some other things while still having a big impact on our program, and he has. And to see him jump on the radio, I say see because I haven't heard, but I will say this: I have heard the feedback, and what he's done has been very positive. He was very well appreciated from a lot of people for what he contributed, but just to see him, and I texted him before the tournament and I said, hey. I want you to be there. And he said, well, in a coaching capacity or on the radio. And I said, I don't care. He had such a big hand in this. And I just felt like you've played a huge part in our program. I want to make sure that you experience this as well. And so I said, if it's radio, awesome. If it's on the bench next to us, awesome. I want to make sure that you experience everything because he's 85% of our roster had played in development team games. And so he's impacted a lot of the guys that are in our program as they come up. And so just very appreciative of all that he puts in. There's a lot of time that people don't realize in terms of on scene, and sometimes even I feel unrewarded, and I try to reward the best I can and take care of the best I can with the resources that we have. But so appreciative of Ryan and all that he does.
That man seems to be a really good guy leading the development team. I talked with him a little bit about this in our broadcast, but he's got to have some flowers too. Last year we had Jake Jensen come straight from the development team to the starting lineup. This year we had Mac Reichen come straight from the development team to the starting lineup. Like, that's 2 in 2 years, and a bunch of other guys that, like you said, have played there in good minutes. That's great development.
Well, we always want to make sure that we take care of our own. At the end of the day, and we take pride in our own, and we develop and grow from within. And so getting players here in our player development program is absolutely key. It's going to be hard to always go and beat some of those elites of the elites on certain things. And so you got to get guys that really fit, that want to be here, that want to work hard, that want to grind and be a part of something bigger themselves. And we've done that. And then when you do that, you have to have the right coaches around them. And I think what Ryan's done down there has been really good and very beneficial for those guys. And that's key in terms of our growth and our development.
We got plenty more guys to talk about, and we still haven't gone through the back half of the season or covered the tournament. That's all upcoming on KYNT. It's the Lancer Locker on Monday evening.
When you need a break, Pizza Ranch is ready. Rough day or good day, sometimes you just need a buffet. And we've got all your favorites always ready to serve. Come to the place that puts a smile on your face. This is Mike at Yankton Pizza Ranch. If you need pizza, desserts, or the country's best chicken, our buffet is ready for you every day from 11 to 8. So make today a buffet day at Yankton Pizza Ranch.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
Imagine paid vacation, sick leave, holidays, and full medical coverage the moment you start a new job. Plus quarterly profit sharing, 5% 401k match, and a company-paid retirement plan your first day on the job. With Parker of Yankton, you don't have to imagine, because all these benefits begin day one. We are hiring assemblers, material handlers, and mine operation techs for both shifts. Don't mind working nights? Enjoy a pay differential of $235. If you're looking to upgrade your career and have day one benefits, apply today at Parker.com.
Parker, engineering your success.
The Dakota Theater in Yankton is always in need of volunteers. There's something for everyone, such as being involved with shows on or off stage, selling concessions, greeting, ushering, cleaning before and after, cleaning the bathrooms, organizing, helping with the lights, the sound, the costumes, decorating, and more. The Dakota Theater in Yankton is so grateful for every volunteer. Theaters for everyone. For more information, go to dakotatheater.org or call 665-4711.
You buy, you shoot, and you score. This is Brandon Tykrow from Lewis and Clark Ford. It's back. March Motor Madness. During March, make a sweet deal on a newer pre-owned vehicle from Lewis and Clark Ford, and we'll take you to the free throw line for 3 shots at our showroom hoop for a chance to make your deal even sweeter. Every shot made is an additional $100 off the deal. March Motor Madness going on now at Lewis and Clark Ford, 4th and Capitol in Yankton.
Looking for fuel or more? Stop by Triple Time Rudy's, your locally owned convenience store at 17th and Broadway. At Triple Time Rudy's, they're proud to support the community, offering fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers and backing local activities and events. Inside, you'll discover regional favorites like Dimmick Cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. Whether it's a quick snack, a tank of top-quality fuel, or a taste of local goodness, Triple Time Rudy's, fueling your day, fueling the community.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker on a KYNT, head coach of the men's basketball program, and Collin Authier joining me. Some of y'all who listen to this program every week will notice normally we do a lot of player interviews. It's spring break. It is spring break. There are no players in the vicinity. Everybody is gone, Coach. Can you tell me where everybody's kind of at? Like, what was the final time everybody's talking? And you're going to do your end-of-season meetings, I assume, next week because of spring break.
Yeah, the game was on Wednesday, and kind of let the guys, I mean, it's we were all prepping for practice on Thursday and Friday and getting ready to play again on Saturday, and unfortunately it didn't happen. And so just kind of had the guys just, hey, just get out of here when your classes are done. Get out, get away, get home, get some downtime. You know, it had been a long year for a lot of guys, and so a lot of guys that were banged up and just need to get away. And so guys are all over the place. I'm assuming trying to book last minute flights and deals and going where they can, and some just were able to go home and get out of here. And so we got this week, and then next week we will meet as a team, do kind of our end of the year team postseason wrap up stuff, and then we do individual meetings, and we sit down, we meet with every single player in our program and do kind of season recaps, talk about positives and negatives, strengths and weaknesses, off-season development program, summer housing, summer jobs, what we see in terms of where a guy can get better, what do they see and what do they want to get better at, and so we just sit down and have that with every single one of our players. And so we'll kind of get a pretty good feel after that week, and then we waste no time in terms of hopping in that weight room and getting with Coach Rosie, and getting bigger and stronger, and then letting our guys continue to just take care of their bodies.
Let's talk a little bit more about the end of the season here. Coming back in January, I know that flu bug hit hard for y'all, but you're able to play well despite of it. Stretch winning 3 out of 5 there in order to punch your way into the tournament. Wins over Doane in overtime, a close one to Morningside and Dakota Wesleyan both. You beat Hastings in a close one, and you really take it to Briar Cliff there to punch your ticket to the GPAC tournament once again. What led to that stretch? What was the mentality like, knowing that the seeding was what it was? You needed to win some of those games, and you did. Yeah,
and we had played well in that Midland. I mean, we were up 14 points there in that second half, and let that one slip away at home. And so and we were shorthanded in that game as well. It was a good stretch. I mean, at the end of the day, we just kind of talked about continuing getting better, and we were continuing to get better at the right time, at the right things. I thought our guys really just kind of started rallying around each other in terms of trying to play for each other, because they knew that guys were down or out or injured or sick, and as we're trying to play, Tyler was still kind of working in, and then he had his hip flare up on him, and then Nook's knees were flaring up on him during that time. As well as guys being in and out of sick of practices and games. So it was awesome to see just the guys come together. I thought it really, really was a springboard for us in terms of what we were doing. And we always talked about peaking at the right time of the year, and that was when we wanted to be able to do that. And then you go into the tournament, Coach. We talked a little bit about it post-game in the win over Briar Cliff. There was a game yet to be decided. It had a couple minutes left. But you end up punching your ticket that night, about
20 minutes after your game ended, it was official you were in the tournament. What did those next 2 weeks look like then, where you had a full week of the regular season left, and then a couple days before the tournament start? What did the mentality look like in the locker room for you guys?
It was just taking it game by game, continue to focus on us, continue to clean our stuff up. We knew we had to prep for Concordia, which is a really good team. I thought our week of prep was good. To the point where they're a top 15 team in the country and playing for the championship tomorrow against Morningside, and we played well for about 28 minutes of that game, and unfortunately we couldn't work on our consistency long enough to be able to string that together. But I thought our prep and how we defended Tristan and doing some things with him, because after our game he went off and had 48 points, and I mean he's a very, very talented player, and in my opinion, a Player of the Year candidate in our league, and a Bevo Francis top 50 candidate. So just a talented player that we had to work hard to scheme for. And so we just kept focused on us, focused on getting better defense with our system, our communication, little things, and then at the end of the day, just consistency of it, and doing it for the duration of 40 minutes was absolutely key.
When it comes to that tournament game itself versus Dordt, first half was different than the second half. I want to focus on that stretch in the second half where you come back and you make it a 5-point game. You're versus a top 10 team in the nation on the road in playoff basketball. You cut it down to a 5-point game and a heavy stretch there. What can you tell me about that second half, and what were you guys doing that was making such an impact?
Yeah, we got off to a slow start, and I thought this was the unfortunate part of the tournament, is that every team in the league got an hour and a half on the floor before their game. Us being double headers, we did not, and then the warm up time was a little bit shorter than was communicated, and so we only had 19 and a half minutes to warm up as opposed to 25, and so we came out shooting 30% in the first half. And it put us behind the 8 ball for a little bit, being down there at halftime, just not making some shots that we could have made, and it was very, very similar to when we had played them at their place previous to, and then to stay with our stuff and how aggressive we came out. I mean, we came out the second half, had a wide open layup to start the half, had a couple really good possessions, and just kept clicking on our end, and knowing that when we made baskets, it took them out of their transition, put it to the half court, and cut that lead down, and we were right there for it. Had a few miscommunications on some stuff where they made some plays, and ended up pulling it out. But I thought our guys, the fight that we had in the second half was definitely a backs are against the wall. We need to do this, and just the level of aggressiveness that we had in finishing plays at the rim was key.
And Coach, that takes us into the off season now, where we want to talk about spring ball, summer, and upcoming. One of the things that I thought obviously is extremely important, and one of the things I thought improved for your season, just from an outsider's perspective throughout the year, was your defensive basketball. We've talked a lot in these interviews about different guys that needed to step up, needed to play better, and it seems like toward the end of the year, a lot of these guys did.
Yeah.
They did step up. So when it comes to this Dordt game, you hold one of the top teams in the nation in scoring to 76 points. You beat Briar Cliff, holding them to 69. You're playing well defensively. What does that look like for this offseason and next season as well? Because defense carries.
Yeah, it has to. It absolutely has to. And when you look at teams that are in the NCAA tournament, teams that make postseason runs, like you have the flashy ones. There's no doubt, and I love Alabama, and they're elite offensively with their efficiency. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you have to just be more talented than everybody else if you're going to win out with that without any defense. And some years teams out of the NCAA tournament, they're able to, but it is really hard. And sometimes the teams that are most connected defensively just have that level of toughness and that execution, that willingness to fly around and make plays and fix things and make it work is key. So as our system continues to evolve, we'll continue to make some tweaks that fit our personnel and putting guys in the right position for it. And so we'll have a huge focus on that. We'll do some stuff this spring. NAI rules don't allow us to be on the floor with our guys, 24-week stuff with certain things, and so we'll do some film studies we'll do some breakdowns. We'll keep learning. We'll keep seeing. We'll keep having questions asked by our players and questions that we'll ask as coaches on stuff, and making sure that it's a collaborative deal in terms of why we're doing what we're doing, and guys understand that part, because it's used to be in the day and age where you could tell guys what to do and they would do it, but now you need to tell them why you're doing it too, and to be able to communicate that where they can see that, understand that, buy into that, and trust that is almost just as important as the what. So we'll do a lot of that this spring, and obviously, really getting that weight room, because it's we just got to get stronger. You get bumped off the ball a little bit more. Some of our turnovers are due to our lack of strength. Sometimes defensively, our positioning was due to lack of strength. And so Coach Rosie's going to have his hands full. He's done a great job, just an absolute tremendous job. And we talked about MG and Al and Coach O. Coach Rosie's right in there. To be at the game that he was on Wednesday at Dort, and to be his investment level. I mean, he'd be coming to development team games. I mean, he cared so much about all the athletes that he worked with, and very, very appreciative of everything that he did here in the first year that we made that change with him, and all that he did. So it'll be a big, important offseason for us to springboard into next year.
Let's talk about the recruiting class as we go to off-season. You have kind of a smaller senior class this year, but still a couple of guys very impactful here. Now, another thing that has been a trend in high school basketball this year, guys are waiting until after the season's end to commit, so a lot of them still waiting for that final buzzer to sound. So what is your plans for this last couple of weeks, your final push getting these recruits?
Yeah, we're on some kids that we really like, really excited about. I feel like we're in a good position with a good portion of them. And they're kind of in maybe a dogfight, and really trying to position yourself the right way. But guys that have an opportunity to really make an impact, and sometimes that's day one, year one, and sometimes that's day 47. Sometimes it's year 2 or year 3. What those impacts, what it looks like, is different for every single guy. And so really excited about the guys that we're on and in a good position with, and then guys that we're going to continue to be on and in a good position with. We're going to make sure that guys that we bring in are going to be guys that really fit our program in terms of what we do. Got to continue to make sure that we do our homework on them, and add the right pieces in here, because we do love our core group, and what we have for our future. And we know that if we could add maybe a player or two that is maybe just didn't get as much playing time in a different situation or whatever it might be, that we have an opportunity to really take advantage of what the league can look like next year. And we're excited about that and for that. But we got a lot of work to do here these next 5-6 months before first day of school starts.
And Coach, as we start to wrap things up here today, can you give me some final thoughts on the progress that you've made? Because once again, as the head coach of the Lancers, it's not kind of a sprint, it's a marathon, because you're trying to do things over a long period of time. Year 4 in the books. What can you tell me about your progress and where this program is heading?
Yeah, we always talked about wanting to sustain success, and so we had to lay down the foundation of how we did things, which was incredibly important to being able to do that. And off the court, we have 3.5 team GPA. We take a lot of pride in that, and everybody kind of tweets out their GPA. I'm not a big fan of tweeting out GPAs. At the end of the day, our guys did what they were supposed to do, and incredibly proud. And we talked about and addressed that as behind doors for us in terms of my appreciation for them of being here for the right reasons. Our program will have 1,000 hours of community service and volunteer hours again once the season's done. We take a lot of pride in that, of being able to help anybody that we can whenever we can. That's not always easy. As sometimes we just can't when requests come in. We try, but we just aren't able to make it work. But we do the best that we can in terms of understanding what our platform is and how important it is to make an impact on other kids' lives. And other people that are going through things. And so very, very proud and appreciative of that. And then our strides on the court, in a very, very tough league where, once again, we should be getting 5 teams into the national tournament. And we feel like there's about 3 games that we dropped that we should have won, that would have put us at the 6th seed, which means you're sitting there going, we're right on that fringe. And the day we didn't execute, and that falls on me, of being able to do that. And so looking forward to next year in terms of just the growth that we can take on the floor, the strides that we can take, the position that we can put ourselves in, because at the end of the day, we want to get in that top 4, host a first round game, and we want to get in that national tournament. It's always been a goal here, because once you do, anything can happen.
Any message for your family or the fans, Coach?
Well, my family obviously goes without saying, right? I mean, my wife has been the rock from the very beginning of things. I mean, for her to drive over with our daughter at 8 p.m. tip-off on a Wednesday night, and our daughter, I still don't know if her sleeping habits have gotten back on schedule yet, but they were there. My mom, her husband, my dad watches all of our games down in Arizona, where he went to. There's actually a Mount Marty fan club that's kind of down there in Arizona at a retirement community down there, and so I'm going to have to get down there and see them, but appreciate them and always following and watching, and just the fans that have been there since day one. There have been some people that have never wavered in their confidence and belief in terms of what we're doing, that understood that it was going to be a process, because it wasn't going to be a quick fix, how we were going to do it. It was going to be how we've done it anywhere that we had been, which was UW Superior to Texas A&M Corpus Christi to Augustana, not just once but twice, in terms of building it up. And it does take time if you're going to do it the right way with the right kids, to have the right kind of people that are going to be involved in it, and very, very appreciative of the people that have supported from the very beginning.
Coach, finally, I just want to thank you for everything that we did over the last season and the last couple of years. Really, you've always made us a priority here at KYNT. We come in and do these early morning interviews a lot. We have a lot of early mornings and late nights together, and you've never failed to show up once, and I really appreciate you for that. Thank you very much for what you do.
I appreciate all you guys do. You, Jeff, and Kurt, and your whole staff here does a lot. And I know you guys, you've been pulled double directions, and during football season, there are certain games that you were doing. Rugby was tough enough to do 2 games in one day, and even your voice was, and we had other people doing it, and really appreciate Bryce and just the whole, everybody that's involved with it. What you guys do for your coverage, it isn't the way anywhere else. And I was at a game this last weekend, a Division II game, and had conversations on that, and experienced that and saw that, and people are taking notice in terms of all the coverage of what KYNT does, and not just for Mount Marty, but really setting the tone for the GPAC. And I think that's the coolest part, is you guys being at the forefront of it all. So very, very appreciative to you guys for what you do every single day.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. Good luck this off season. I know we're going to talk multiple times before the start of next season in October, but I can't wait for it, Coach. Thank you.
We'll be having lunch soon. I'll be seeing you at some baseball and softball games.
100%. This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. Let's take a final break. We'll come back and wrap things up. It's 102.1 FM, AM 1450, the Lancer Locker.
Hey, son, can you hand me that vice grip?
As any farmer or rancher knows, having the right tools in the toolbox is important. That goes for your ag lending as well. If you're considering expansion, restructuring debt, or purchasing equipment, call Dakota Mac. We have a toolbox full of lending solutions to help you with your ag financing needs.
Hi, it's Jeff Wolfgram from Dakota Mac. Call us at 800-682-4578 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Looking for a job you can crush it at? Aztec is hiring. They're seeking a variety of positions, including engineers for manufacturing, electrical software and controls and design, plus electrical technician and maintenance tech. Aztec offers competitive pay, 10 paid holidays, incredible 401k, paid parental leave, safety incentives, and a $1,000 sign-on bonus for production workers. To apply for these jobs or see what other opportunities are available, go to aztecjobs.com.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
High school sports fans, take your game to the next level with Sparkling Ice Starburst, your new favorite game day boost. Bursting with bold flavors like strawberry, cherry, orange, and lemon, it's the perfect refreshment to keep you energized. Packed with sparkling fun and zero sugar, Sparkling Ice Starburst is the ultimate drink to fuel your spirit. Whether you're hitting the court or cheering from the stands, Sparkling Ice Starburst has your back. Grab some today and make every play a star performance. Sparkling Ice Starburst, where flavor meets performance.
It's time to stop making excuses. The peace of mind you get after a colonoscopy is worth it. It's the best way to prevent and detect one of the deadliest cancers. In fact, your doctor can remove precancerous polyps during the procedure if necessary. That's right. before it even turns to cancer. No buts about it. Get a colonoscopy at 45 and follow up every 10 years or as recommended by your doctor. Find a location or schedule now at avera.org/colon.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker for the final time. Thank you to Coach Collin Authier for coming in and talking with us. I meant what I said when he was here. I absolutely appreciate that guy. He's always dedicates a lot of time to us. Most of the coaches at Mount Marty really do, and we really appreciate it. We really, really do. I especially. As we go finish up the show now, we'll talk about upcoming schedule once again. In terms of our coverage, gets a little less here as basketball season wraps up. We do have some baseball games coming up. We're hoping to cover one of the 2 days of the Maceville State University baseball games this weekend, and we will absolutely be covering conference play at home, starting with Northwestern College next Friday, the 14th, at Riverside Field. We'll have a 2-day doubleheader right here on KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450, as well as our KYNT-V YouTube streaming platforms. That's going to do it for our broadcast today. Thank you for listening. Everybody make sure you have a great night.